Alrighty then, I'm going to make hash browns from food storage, things that I have dehydrated and canned. So I'm going to use the square dices, and this is from September 2015. Just put it in an old jar. I have to rehydrate that, and I'm going to add some of our dehydrated onions, and it says ours on it because we grew them. Now, because I'm Southern, I have plenty of bacon grease, okay, which is what I'm going to fry the onions up in and the hash brown taters. But if I didn't, I'm trying to make sure that I have things in food storage that I could. Here is bacon from September of 2014. That grease is all very good to use, so I could fry up the bacon simply to crisp it. It is not recommended that you can bacon. By food safety experts, I can bacon. But if not, if you're Southern, you'll have plenty of bacon grease. I could also, if needed, to make a breakfast, use sausage patties. These are from November of 2013 that were canned, and there's some good grease in that if I needed to use it. So I'm always trying to look at ways to use what I have in food storage that I could create a meal from that without having, say, to have fresh milk, to have bacon, those kind of things. So I'm going to give this a whirl. So I'm going to rehydrate my diced taters. Lord only knows how long it's going to take. I don't know, but I'll work it out. I always do. So it ain't hard. It's just trying to cook with your food storage. So it doesn't have to be an SHTF moment. It can be your husband's lost a job. You have surprise company. That you weren't expected to come stay for a weekend. It could be many things. In South Carolina, we just had the aquapocalypse where for 4 days we literally could not have left our house. We were surrounded by water because the entire state got over 27 inches of rain. So what can I use that I have on hand in an emergency? Doesn't have to be a big emergency. It's not an end of the world thing. So I'm just practicing. Make sure I know how to use what I have stored. Alrighty then, I'm using a Teflon coated skillet. I know a lot of people hate those, but most people have that. So that's what I am testing this in. I've got myself a knob of bacon fat. My potatoes are rehydrated. My onions are rehydrated. And as you saw in the picture, I have them draining in a colander. So, working on some food storage. Hash browns with onions. So there's going to be more water in these onions. Even though I've had them in the strainer, and I've squeezed them out by hand, so we'll have to see how that goes. But this is an experiment, and like rice, I have no idea how much to do, so I'm going to try that much. And there's my potatoes. See if I can get some of the water off of these onions. Remember, these are dehydrated onions. We grew them, we dehydrated them. They have the same exact flavor, of course, as if you used a fresh onion. They're just a little more wet. See how it goes? The rehydrated onions are doing great, and what I put in my hash browns is black pepper, and I like Lowry seasoned salt in it, because if I don't have Lowry seasoned salt, which I always have that, I would put kosher salt and paprika and some garlic powder in my whatever I'm making. What am I making? Hash browns from food storage. Yep. Oh, and for Tommy, you can put cayenne in it, but if you're serving it to other people, just put the cayenne on the table. Then they can put some cayenne if they want, but they don't want it, only you do. If you're eating it alone, you could put the cayenne in it. but think of others. Tommy. So my onions are not translucent. They've only been in there about 4 or 5 minutes. But now I'm going to put my rehydrated taters, or potatoes, as it should be properly said, in here. And I'm going to turn my heat way down, because you don't want your potatoes crunchy on the outside and raw, for lack of a better word, or uncooked on the inside. So that's why I'm using a wide skillet, so that I can lay this out in a single layer. And those onions will continue to cook. And I had just the right amount of bacon fat in here. You can certainly use vegetable oil. I don't like it. I like bacon fat because, like I said, I'm Southern, and it's how we roll. And I am a friend of the pig. So I've got my propane burner down to low. People are in one layer. People, whatever these things are. The potato and, gosh, I can't talk. And the onion. Okay, so I'll let you know what's happening. But this may cook 10 minutes. It may cook 25. But whatever, it's going to be on low, and they'll get brown on the outside and very good. So again, this is dehydrated onion and potatoes from my food storage. And you need to practice with what you have stored. What if you find out you don't like dehydrated onions, right? So maybe you'd want to buy number 10 cans of freeze-dried onions or whatever. Like, I don't like dehydrated celery at all, so I freeze it. And I also have 2 number 10 cans of, freeze-dried, because I like it better. So practice with your food storage. This was from a little bit from a 10-pound bag of potatoes on sale. But practice with it for when the time comes that you need to use it, you'll like what the finished product is. And some things I've tried, I failed at, and then I just pimp it up a little bit, practice again, and I have a little recipe notebook on how to use things in my food storage, so that when the time comes that I may have to use it, due to, like we had the South Carolina aquapocalypse, really couldn't leave the house for 3 to 5 days safely because of the tide and the water around us. We were safe 9 feet up in the air. But that way you know exactly how to use it. Practice. It ain't hard. You just give it a whirl. And before I get a private message axing me, when you're dehydrated onions, some of them turn very brown, and that's from the sugar content in it. These were onions that we grew. Oh yeah, they're delicious. When I do some yellow or white onions in those little kind of fishnet bags you get at the grocery, and I dehydrate them, they stay a very clear white. Just the ones we grew had a higher sugar content, so don't ever be alarmed if when you dehydrate onions they become very dark in color. Just has to do with the sugar content, and it makes them really yummy. Just a little lagniappe information to get on your last nerve. Huh. Well, this is interesting. It hadn't even been a total of 10 minutes, and these potatoes are already cooked. And that's certainly not the case if I use a fresh potato, that have to peel and dice. So that's pretty interesting. So I'm just going to turn the heat up a little bit to get some of them a little crunchy on the outside. But other than that, this was very fast, and that would certainly work on a campfire in one of my cast iron skillets to really cook these even faster. So I'm totally digging it. So I got another little food storage success. And like I said when we started, I could add bacon to this that I have canned. I could have canned sausage, or I could just have this with eggs. So I totally dig it. Alright, practice with your food storage. Hash browns with onions from food storage. Can't beat it with a stick. Keep it weird, people. Keep it weird till I see you next time.